So this is the 11th session. You know, I really, had a hard time. It's much more work than I expected in terms of scheduling, because the best timing for everyone, actually for majority, is 3 a.m. in Hawaii. So, you know, I discussed it with Andy, you know, we should actually host this one at 3 a.m. so that many Asian people also can join, because in Asia it's like 2 a.m., right? So in many Asian people actually couldn't join in the morning session. So that's why we had the afternoon session. In afternoon session, like 5 p.m. is really bad timing for many other people. So anyway, so scheduling was very difficult. So what I decided is just to put, you know, make an Excel file and put people there. And if their abstract looks similar, I just named it, or distributional, you know, longitudinal, or generational economy, fiscal, and the COVID effect. But it worked out very well, right? So there is no session with more than 5 papers. But having said that, I realized that, oh, this is actually very interesting. These 11 sessions actually is what we are doing. So we actually haven't, this time we haven't talked about like development of NTA, right? Because in the past, we always had some workshop in closing, or just before closing, we talked about what's the status of NTA and where we are moving forward. And I found that if I compare this agenda with 2 years or 4 years ago, we definitely had more papers on like longitudinal or distributional NTA. So I would say that's the development. That's what we are doing, actually. So, and they also suggest that actually we didn't have much time yesterday for, because of this, for NTA meeting, because of the election. You know, if we want to say about few suggestions, you know, Andy already, Ron already suggested, oh, we should probably have another workshop for longitudinal, right, to discuss this APT, average, you know, period and time fact. And the entirely new session is the COVID-19. Absolutely, we didn't have anything like impact of COVID-19, you know, papers. So I would say this is a new development. So we cannot decide right now, but just keep that in mind. If you say something right now, please go ahead. What, you know, what is forum? What is conference? This is a, you know, we provide a forum for discussion, right? And exchange ideas. So I think we had a, very, very good experience, and we can continue to do that. Is there any other, like, you know, this is what we are doing, right? So some suggestions for future development of NTA, or some new ideas, and or something that you want to do? You know, oh, this is actually an idea I wanted to do, or our countries are doing. Oh, Gretchen.
Thanks. I just wanted to say one thing about, so in this meeting, Tim and Nicole's terrific session last night and this morning that got us talking more about how to structure maybe a report on the generational economy, what we want to do. The general discussion about the time transfer accounts that we had also yesterday, those weren't things that Sanghap decided should be on the schedule. Those were things that people in the network just wanted to add to it. So as we go forward, I hope that we will, you know, have more sort of smaller, more targeted meetings throughout the year until we can all be together again. But this is just to say that everyone should know that if you think that there's something we should talk about, that you can create the agenda for it and or add it to a meeting that somebody else is scheduling. You don't have to be on the executive committee. You don't have to, you know, have been part of NTA for 20 years. Everyone who wants to add aspects to the project or events to the schedule should really feel free to make a plan, talk to any of the members of the executive committee, and do it, just because I think that's just going to benefit everyone.
Thank you. That's a really good idea. Probably that's the future direction. I mean, it's not just in terms of our topics. The future direction should include our organization a little bit more, because many people think that, oh, we can probably come back. I mean, Tim really wants to have want to come back to Hawaii, but we don't know. The situation is so fluid, and after COVID-19 is over, probably this will be a new normal, because we have an issue about the funding, right? Because I have an issue about funding, because if this is not face-to-face meeting, if it's virtual meeting, how can the funding agencies actually funding big events? So this is, I have thought about so many times, actually so long time, because the UNFPA actually promised to fund this our conference on Hawaii, but because I said, oh, this will be a virtual meeting, they cut the funding immediately. There are like a dozen of issues. And also, you can think about that. I mean, it's also why conferences should be this way within a week. We can have a conference every month, but topic by topic, right? Because it doesn't have to be, we don't have why we have a conference? Because we have a space constraint, we have a time constraint, but now we don't have a space constraint and time constraint. That's the whole different era. This is entirely different. So, it can be over the whole year, every month, just for one topic. So think about that, okay? This is a future direction, okay? And Ron, sorry, okay.
I'm just following up on what Sung Yap and Gretchen said. I really also would like to encourage members to initiate meetings on topics they think would be useful. And the specific the question I have for Sung Yap and Andy is these aren't as easy to do as it looks like, as we think they will be. And the East-West Center has this terrific infrastructure and experience in running these virtual meetings. I'm thinking of Mari and other staff members who've been helping us. And what I wonder is whether if someone in another, in some other country wants to do a meeting on some topic, whether it might be possible for the East-West Center to support it with staff infrastructure if the person with the idea doesn't have that kind of infrastructure in their own center. And I know that's more expensive and time-consuming than one might think. So it's not a small thing if East-West Center is able to do it. It's a big, important thing. So I don't want to put you on the spot, but it might help encourage people to actually organize some of these if there was going to be some help. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Andy?
Well, I think, let me respond to your suggestion, Ron. I think this is something that we need to think about and assess kind of this meeting and what it's involved. And we're relatively new to this. So we haven't been running a lot of virtual meetings, just like no one else has been. And so I think it has been a big challenge for all of us and the staff operating in the background to pull this off. But, we're not talking, you're talking about a smaller workshop, not something of this scale. So, I think it's something we probably need to discuss and think about what the center wants to do in this regard. The other thing I might bring up is we've talked about sort of member-initiated workshops, but we could also just have a seminar series where NTA members would once a month give a seminar that would be, a little longer than 10 minutes. Or there could be two presenters on a topic. It could be something we can be very flexible about what we do. There probably needs to be a little organization if we do that. Somebody would need to be this seminar coordinator and encourage people to, give talks. So I think this is something that we should definitely think about for the future.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. And also, the training, right? Because we used to actually provide the hands-on training for newcomers. But my hand is here, so I cannot give hands-on, actually. I cannot provide the real hands-on, like a STATA or R training. So this is something, also we have to think about how, Tim and Nicole are probably good examples, how we provide NTA training using like Zoom or virtual meetings. So there are many things to think about. There are so many things. And hopefully, actually, we can go back to before COVID-19 and have a meeting. But the thing is, people are already get kind of used to it, right? Because universities are already changing everything to online. And some faculty said they don't want to go. Because our department actually changed everything online right now. So actually people can just graduate, students can graduate. So they can have an online diploma. So I don't know whether it's actually we can go back to our original meetings or original trainings. So, this is just brainstorming. So I suggest that actually we'll have a new executive council. The new executive council actually talk about the funding issues and what's going on in each region and what's the future directions of NTA. How do we provide the training, in at least 1 year, right? So maybe at least by the end of a year, unless the vaccines are developed. So something like that, it's I was really, happy to actually have these meetings, because in the beginning, Andy and I thought whether we should just postpone. But why not? Why, we can just have virtual meetings, right? So that's why we actually hosted this.
So, I think David McCarthy had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, David.
All I want to say is that, I think this virtual meeting has been great, and I'm amazed by the presentations and everything. Without naming names, I've been attending 2 virtual conferences this week, and this one is definitely by far the way that it was organized was just very, very much better. So I think the format works, but I don't know if I'm alone, but I personally find the Zoom meetings and the Zoom format very stilted. I find it very hard to present in the absence of audience feedback. And so I would urge us not to forget the pre-COVID world. And I think that there's a lot of value to be gained in meeting personally. And I would urge us to try and return to those personal meetings and conferences. I know they're complicated and expensive, but I do think it's worth the effort. So I just hope that we don't make this the new normal. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right. Okay. So of course, I cannot agree with you anymore. Gretchen also posted on the Zoom chat, Zoom group chat, that there are some possibilities, new opportunities of virtual training, recording training sessions, as future resources. So there are many other possibilities. So we should pursue those kind of things. And again, this is a very exceptional period, very exceptional. Right, but PC also said I agree on personal meetings when possible. Well, actually better than conference. It's just in large part because of the time zone, actually. Yeah, I'm suffering from insomnia, have suffered from. Well, like I said, we could offer at 3 a.m., but it would, Andy?
Yeah, so I'm wondering, David and others, when you say in-person meetings, there are a bunch of different kinds of in-person meetings. So is there value to having an in-person global meeting that lasts for a week? Or are there alternatives to that that are in person?
Well, you know, we've had, I'm trying to think, we've had various European meetings. We've had our workshop here at UGA. And then we've had the global meetings. And, you know, the Europeans, I don't know if it came up in one of the sessions I wasn't in, but the Europeans are now working on another joint project on wealth and other things and caring. And so that's involving France, Sweden, Austria, the UK, and a few other countries. And we'll have meetings from that as well. So, you know, the meetings could be any kind of thing. I mean, I'm not suggesting that we don't have Zoom meetings at all. I'm just trying to say that maybe they should be viewed as complements rather than as substitutes. Because I think there is value in the social and the sort of off-session time, and I think the contact with the audience is very valuable. That's all I'm saying.
Any good, you must have had many actually Zoom meetings or Zoom conferences. Can you share some good exercises? We don't have actually much time, but anyway, if we want to say something.
I just mentioned.
Okay, James, sorry.
I agree that there are certain things we haven't done in this conference, which is like if I was at a face-to-face conference, I probably would have talked about the APC model with some of the other NTA teams, like just during lunch or something like that, which hasn't happened. So that's a pity. But on the other hand, for me personally, I would never, just at the moment, I would never, even COVID or no COVID, I can't go anywhere outside of Australia because of medical issues. So it's really been handy. You know, it's been a blessing really to have this at this juncture, you know, COVID or no COVID for me personally. So yeah, there are pluses and minuses, as in all things, I guess. Okay.
Actually, many people, actually a couple of people already posted that, you know, the face-to-face and the conferences should continue as much as funding permits. But didn't you feel, because I thought actually 10 minutes of presentation is sometimes hard to follow. Of course, that's the exact reason why you actually have to post the video or PowerPoint. Andy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I don't think we should ever have a conference that is solely face-to-face. There's no reason why presentations can't be made available to people who can't come. So we should have hybrid if we're going to have face-to-face, not just in person and excluding people who can't come for whatever reason. And as far as the short presentations go, I thought 10 minutes was great. That's just my opinion.
Ron?
One of the things that has really impressed me with comments and discussion and interactions after the presentations, I think maybe that part has been better than in the face-to-face, partly because the chat room just allows people, lots of people, to express themselves even if they don't do it out loud. And I've just found that last part of each session very valuable, particularly when the session, when the presentations end early enough so there's actually time for discussion from the floor. I think that's, okay. I've just been amazed at that.
Yeah, I actually have the same idea, but I think it's a selection problem.
Yes, we lose a lot. Yeah. We lose a lot. But
yeah.
So I think.
I think we are here. I mean, it's kind of a selection problem, because if we are in Hawaii, probably many people won't be here in the room, probably in Waikiki Beach or somewhere else. That's actually another thing. Because I was really amazed that, in the beginning, I thought, how many people will join? But it's much more than 160 people registered. every session, even the really bad timing had 30 people, and the big session is like 70 people. So I thought, wow, these people are really into it, right? So that's why we are here. There is no incentive actually, except for research. But if it's in Hawaii, I mean, in location, probably many people in Waikiki Beach. I mean, those who are not interested in research. So I mean, I would say that's the selection problem. But this is another actually issue why people. I mean, some people actually, you know, combine their travel, right? The incentive system. Why we are interested in having a meeting conference in Hawaii, because some people actually want to come to Hawaii. Why we are interested in having a meeting in Paris, for example. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a small incentive, and I have an incentive to travel because I want to stay away with my wife, something like that, right? For a week. So this, I mean, conference, because we are in the room, in the future, it's related with the funding. Also, some conference, not NTA, you know, they provide honorarium, something like that. So you know, it's a big new issue that we probably can talk about in the future. And okay, video recording training session being posted in website should be considered. So many people actually think about, you know, we need to continue training, but we haven't provided much during this meeting, right? So you can read actually Zoom group chat. So we have to continue provide training. We couldn't do that here. I mean, again, let me just repeat what Andy said. For us, this kind of large scale meeting is kind of first in the center. The reason is also there is we didn't have any real policy, written policy for like a security, Zoom security. Because it's like very different from like hosting a big meeting by individual. We have to follow our IT rules. Okay, so something like that. So that's why we had spend most time for registration. I sent so many emails, you know, encouraging to register, because the East-West Center said that they are not going to allow any people, accept any people if their name is not on the registration. That was a really big, yeah, created a kind of havoc. I mean, really big problem. So it's different, you know, very different. If I host this meeting, it will be having much easier, actually. Just send all link, you know, accept all people, but it's not that case. So we have, yeah, it's a learning by doing process. Anything else? Andy? Yeah.
This is a follow-up a bit on Ron's earlier comment about the East-West Center being host for other meetings. One thought I had is that it would have been useful to have co-hosts for this conference. Maybe in Europe, have a co-host, or in Asia, a co-host. And then the responsibilities could shift around depending on time zone, for example. So in this meeting, we ended up having staff up in the middle of the night dealing with the Zoom conference going on at times that were very inconvenient for us. And so that would give us a little more flexibility, and we have this great network. We should use it in ways that really increase our power.
Okay. Yeah. We can, you know, probably talk about the details later. You know, we cannot talk everything here, but these are all great ideas. Having host and the posting. It's a lot of work too, actually. Training materials. But one thing everybody probably observed is that this, you know, posting the materials on website and video recording actually helps, because you can see it. You know, those who cannot actually join the meeting because of the time schedule, time conflict or whatever, could watch it. So that really helped. And thank you. And then Bahram. Bahram is, you are here. They worked really hard to make it happen.
Thank you, Sanyap.
Okay. If there is no more discussion, we don't have a farewell lunch, so just we'll provide some farewell remarks, closing remarks. I wish actually we can have some farewell lunch. It's okay. Next time, okay? Next time. Who provide the farewell closing remarks? I can just say, that it's a new experience for everyone, and I'd like to thank Andy and Bahram. They worked hard, but Marie and Justina really worked hard. So please give a big round of applause for you are muted anyway to them. It was a new, and also I apologize for many, some technical difficulties on our part. There are some oversight on our part, but that's it. It's the last day. So if you want to complain, just email me and write a 2-page of summary why it didn't happen, and provide some new directions which can improve the meeting. Okay. So 2 pages, single space. Ron?
I just want to say what people have been saying in the chat room. We all, as a participant, want to thank the East-West Center deeply and the staff for all their work, but also a special thanks to you, Sangya, as chair and leader of NTA for the last 2 years. I know how hard it is to organize these meetings. And then also I know Andy has been working very hard on these meetings as well. So thanks to all of you there.
Okay, thank you.
Of all the participants.
Okay. So this is, almost conclusion. We are on to the conclusion, but let me actually say just a few words. Next time, when the chair or whatever, who send the email, please read carefully and register. If they say register, register. If they say post, and post. Okay. So that's the actually biggest lesson we've learned, right? Following rules and reading emails and posting website. That works actually. That makes things very easier and happen. Okay, so I have to have a breakfast, and bye. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next time. Okay, face to face. Somewhere.
See you next time for all.
Please unmute yourself and say something. Okay, please, everyone, just unmute yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
Bye-bye.
See you all.
Nice
Bye.
meeting you.
Good to see everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See you, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Nice face to face.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.